You watch the news, Robert Howell. We are live. Happy Tuesday. Taking down some notes. How is everyone? 16 people jumped on us. Howdy, howdy. Give it just a few minutes for everyone to jump on. Hi, Tim Walters. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hi, Skip. Hope you're doing good. Oh, my buddy Tony Ellison jumping on from Alabama. Hi, LK.
Hey, Jen, I'm trying to get to a better audio spot, but Ricky's on with us already whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, Mike Howell. Hi, Aaron Higgins. Concord, Alabama tuned in. Prime time, right, Dana? Hey, Anthony. There we go. I can see your beautiful face.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
We got Ricky Brooks on with us tonight. Gonna give it just another minute for all these people to jump on board. Robert's gonna have to mute his. This is really loud in the background.
I am muted.
You are now.
Yeah.
All right, let me go check the other computer. Maybe I messed that one up.
Yeah, Mark. Robert always has on. Him and John Chance took their little ones to Daytona last week, and they did such a good job. And it was so exciting to follow along with all the parents updates on their kiddos this last week. You hear all that background noise, Ricky?
What's that?
You hear all that background noise? I'm a pop, Robert.
It's Robert. It ain't me.
I know. That's better. All right, so we wanted to get Ricky Brooks on board. Thank you for taking time first to come on with us tonight. We love aggravating you and like it that all the fans finally get to see your face, the ones that aren't drivers and, you know, just hears all the good stuff and the bad stuff. But we wanted to get you on and kind of talk a little bit because one thing we got really tired of seeing on Facebook post all these big races was, why wasn't something found in pre-race tech? And I don't think the everyday person knows the difference between pre-race tech and post-race tech. So that's one of the things we want to address. Of course, we want to talk about the Wheelman series and the first race coming up this weekend. You have some really awesome dates coming up for that, including South Alabama Speedway, which was one of my absolute favorites. So just kind of introduce yourself, let everyone know what you do, and let's get started.
Well, I'm Ricky Brooks. I tech race cars for a living. I go all over the country. Been to Canada, pretty much all over the United States, teching different types of cars. There's no way possible to tech everything on a race car before an event because there's some things you can't tech, but there's not enough time in the day. We do the bulk of the stuff, but there's no way to do everything before an event ever happens. If we did, we'd be there for 2 or 3 days beforehand. And I know we're there for 2 or 3 days at the Derby, but even at that, there's still not enough time with all the different cars and stuff coming through the pits. We have 5 local divisions. We have 2 late model divisions. We do a pretty good job, but there's no way of finding every single thing beforehand. I think this year, the Derby went probably as good as any of them. We didn't have any DQs after the two big races. We had a couple in local divisions, but that was it.
And so do you have like a pre-race safety checklist that you normally go by for what you mainly look for in pre-race tech?
You said safety check?
Yeah.
Well, we do a safety check on all the cars, and then we have a long checklist we do before an event. And a Saturday night event is tech differently than like a snowball event when you have more time, because there's, like I said, there's not enough time and you don't have enough people to tech that much stuff.
And also, I mean, I don't think some people understand. I mean, I respect you a lot because you try to make sure racing's fair and you want everybody to have a shot, whether you be the low budget Saturday night guy that can only afford 1 set of tires, or if you're the guy that shows up and can have 6 sets of racing tires. You try your best to and pride yourself in making it fair for everybody. But there's things that can be changed between pre-race tech and post-race tech. So you can't ever, in my opinion, check everything in pre-race tech and say everything's good. I mean, you still have to have some things you check afterwards.
Exactly. I mean, it's like, just take the Derby, for instance. We tech the cars on Wednesday. Then they have them. Then we tech them again before qualifying on Friday. We qualify. And then they have the car again Friday night and Saturday. Then we tech it a quick tech Sunday morning to get it on the racetrack. So there's too much can be changed in between all that time.
Yeah, you cannot literally have 60 people sitting at all 60 cars before qualifying and keeping an eye on them for days on end.
Yeah, I mean, what do they want me to do? It's like we tore the engine apart on the winter afterwards this year. Well, that's something that's been needing to be done, and it's going to be done more often. But did they want me to tear the motor down before the race started?
Right.
And
you know, the crew, what gets me is the team owner, the crew chief, the driver, the engine builder. None of them had a problem with what I did after the Derby. So why is all these naysayers having to run their mouth on social media when they don't even know what they're talking about?
And I just want to clear something up that I think I know the answer to, but you can shed light on. There was a social media post, and I won't name the media source that shared it. It's been out there, that posted pictures of you guys taking body panels off the cars, which I think was mostly done to make it easier to take the motor out. And they were posting pictures saying you guys were checking serial numbers on body panels and all kinds of petty little stuff. That wasn't the case, Ray. You weren't actually checking serial numbers and weighing body panels. That was done for other reasons.
For one, the body panels don't have a serial number on it. And 2, we're not going to weigh body panels. And 3, the biggest reason, did you see the tech guys or the crew guys? They're all big guys. We took the body panels off so we could get our big ass in there to do something.
That's what I thought, but I just wanted to clear that up, and I didn't want to misspeak, so I wanted to come from you. But when I saw that, I'm like, yeah, there's more to that than that, and Ricky will answer that in due time.
And that's why we love Ricky, is because he will tell you like it is. You don't care who you are. He's going to tell you like it is. He's going to answer your questions, and he's going to be fair about it. One of our fan questions is, can he expand on why they tore the Derby engine down so far? We had heard that there was an issue previously with the motor builder, and they wanted it to be tore down. They wanted to be able to prove, hey, that ours is completely legal. Is that correct?
That's partially correct. One of the reasons the engine come down is because every time I pulled engines and took them to the dyno afterwards, and it didn't affect the outcome of the race, we found at the dyno something illegal that we could have found at the racetrack. So it's no different than the frostbite race. I showed up at the Derby prepared. I had brand new parts and pieces laying there to measure and compare to. So we just pulled the motor apart. And yes, the engine builder was 100% on board with what we did.
That's awesome. And I feel like as a team owner or an engine builder, I would want you to tell everyone, hey, this is why we're doing what we're doing. And we were completely on board. We went out there and won legally, and that's the way it is.
And Ricky, expand a little bit if you can. I mean, you know more than we do. You were these drivers all the time, and these guys race with you multiple races across the country. I mean, it's the fans and stuff complaining because it takes so long afterwards, maybe to find out the real winner. But most of the time, these teams want you to go through this thorough tech process, and they want to know if they win the race that they did it the right way, and they want everybody to know they did it the right way. So you're not getting pushback from these guys like you are from some just normal fans and stuff, correct?
Correct. I mean, most of the racers, they want a good tech. So we tech the race cars, and the fans that are complaining, they can go home. They can go home and read about it later.
Right.
It isn't like every single event there's somebody DQ'd.
Well, an example.
8 out of 10 races, most of them, the finishes never change. We're not there to change the finish.
And an example, I mean, Rich Bickle, I mean, he got DQ'd at the Big League Memorial a week before the Snowball Derby. Said one of the first times he'd ever been DQ'd in his life. The carburetor was wrong. They admitted that they bought the car and didn't really know what was in it and brought it to the race, and they owned up to it. But they still showed up knowing you were checking the next week. It's not like they were disgruntled and mad. I mean, that's a perfect example to me that everybody respects what you do and wants to be fair.
Well, prime example, that show there was a 2-day deal. You're limited on staff, so you can't check everything at that deal like you did at the Snowball. At the Snowball, we checked every carburetor there. Nobody knows about the 6 that we found that was illegal that we kept till the end of the weekend. So we check them all. Then they have to bring them back through tech and get them sealed to the engine.
And fans, while you're in drivers, because we have a lot of drivers and a lot of fans on, y'all keep throwing your questions out. We'll keep throwing them out as long as Ricky will tolerate us. When he's done with us, he'll tell us, I promise. Griffith said, what is the favorite trick that you found? So what's the most genius trick, I guess, you've found so far?
I don't, be honest with you, I couldn't tell you.
You find some pretty good ones, though. Keeps you busy. Michael said, great program. Thanks for setting up. And Ricky, thank you for your time. John said, when there is that much money on the line, tech needs to be that involved. No gray area. I absolutely agree. And a lot of our drivers, especially, Ricky comes in tech's big league race, and a lot of our local races down at 417, our big races down there, you don't hear the drivers complaining about it. You don't hear the crews complaining about it. If they have a problem, they go straight to Ricky. Ricky clarifies it, and it's taken care of right then and there.
And I want to add to that, Jen. Me and you both worked really hard, and I was aggravating these drivers for months ahead of time to get the 40 plus drivers we did for the big league race. And some of them first question was who was teching, and they were happy when we said Ricky Brooks was doing it because they know they're getting a fair shake, and it's going to be a well-ran deal. And I'm disappointed we weren't going to be able to get Jeff Schofield on tonight after Ricky, but we'll get him on because there's so many drivers that want to back you, Ricky, and want to say they're thankful for what you do. And they're glad you don't just pass through after the race and say pre-tech caught everything. They're thankful that we wanted to let you kind of know on this show tonight that the drivers have your back and they're grateful for you.
I appreciate that. And most of them let me know that. I mean, we got a lot of praise after the Derby for the way things went. So for the most part, if you don't watch the social media stuff, you know what the racers want.
Tyler Sontag said, how much can you tear down a wheelchair? Asking for a friend.
Well, we put him on blocks at the Derby, wouldn't let him go anywhere for a little while.
That's some of my favorite stuff. And Jana, we keep getting more questions for Ricky. We'll come back to him, but let's try to get on a little more positive note while we got Ricky instead of all this tech stuff. Unless you have anything you want to talk about, add to the tech. You got 2 really big things coming up, and a lot of them affect Florida you're now running the Wheelman series presented by County Waste. And that's a big deal. And I think part of you being over it and the tech is why I think we're going to have 30 plus cars this weekend at Arbondale. And then before we end the show, I want you to talk a little bit about the SRL East that you've been doing out West. You're expanding to this, to tell everybody what the East Coast has for late models coming. But what are your thoughts on the Wheelman series, and how happy or honored are you to get to run that this year? And what are your thoughts and expectations?
Well, right now we got 28, I believe, pre-entered cars. I look for that list to grow because there's quite a few names that aren't on there. Steve and them guys, they did a good job with it, and we just hope we can take it to the next level.
And the first race this weekend will be at Arbondale on this Saturday. I'm going to run through a couple questions real quick. Well, a couple of statements. He has a very tough job. I'm just a local guy, but everything Ricky does is awesome. We need 100 Rickies around the country. Mike said, looking forward to the new series involved in the Sportsman, with Ricky involved in the Sportsman series. We'd like to see the purse for this weekend. Do we have a purse posted yet?
It's
No,
3,000 to win, I believe, right?
The purse will be posted tomorrow.
Okay.
Just so everybody knows, the purse will be posted, and I'll be at the track Friday night for the practice. We'll probably do some safety inspection, stuff like that, just walking through the pit. But I look forward to a good weekend.
All the Wheelman races are 3,000 to win this year, right?
It'll be posted tomorrow.
Okay. I thought I read that somewhere. I might have misspoken.
No, that's all right.
Tyler Sontag said, see you Saturday, Ricky. DJ said, have fun with it, Ricky. They've
Oh,
had
we're gonna have fun.
Run them like the old days. Every track had the same rules, and you have a great car count. It's up to the track promoters, and love the broadcast. Wheelman is historically a very tough racing series. How will you put a stop to that?
I don't know what they mean by rough. Is it? I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't watched a lot of them. Were they just a lot of beating and banging, or what? Because I don't believe that.
I just think it's hit or miss. Some of the races were pretty rough, and other ones ran caution free. So I think I swear, it's a full moon thing. Some nights the drivers are crazy, and some of them they're tame.
Well, I'll be honest with you. That's one of the reasons we took it to 75 laps instead of 50. Gives people a little bit more time to get settled in and run it out. So I hope running 75 laps instead of 50 laps calms everybody down.
And I lost my train of thought real quick, but with the 75 laps, I think that'll be a lot better and more racing. And like you said, give everybody a little more time to get to the front if they get shuffled back and feel like they got to push up there. But I just want to thank you for everything you do, allowing us to help with this. And we're looking forward to promoting the Wheelman all year. But taking them to South Alabama, a lot of these Florida cars, what do you think that's going to do for not only the sport and that class, but for some of these Florida drivers that are going to get a little recognition across the country that don't necessarily get to go and race with the big boys everywhere else?
Well, they'll be the main event that night on June 4th. And that's probably the biggest night that Speedway has. It's their crossover night. The grandstands will be standing room only. It always is at night. Every division they have will be running that night. And it'll be a good night for the drivers and the fans.
And I have to say, once you've been to South Alabama Speedway, you can't help but love that place. Like, the people are so nice. The track is absolutely awesome, very racy. And I really think once all these drivers who have not been there for the Rattler or any other races before, I think they're going to put this on their list as a must go to every year.
100%. We're going to do a Friday night practice there. So the people that's never been will be able to get enough practice. He normally has an open practice every Sunday, I believe, starting towards the end of the month, but they can check out their website. But he'll have an open practice on Sunday. Anybody wants to go up there. It's inexpensive as far as going there and practicing for that Sunday deal. You just buy a pit pass and it'll be good.
And honestly, even Radler weekend up there, I think it's like $80 for the 3-day pit pass or somewhere around there, 4-day pit pass, $80. I mean, you can't beat their pricing.
I'm not sure exactly what the price is going to be. Everything's going up. I don't foresee it going up a lot, but we were actually working on a lot of stuff today for the Radler.
That's awesome. Run through a few more fan comments. So do you see them opening up the rules some as far as the Wheelman series? Any changes in the rules you expect in the next year or so?
That's one thing I promised Steve, that I wouldn't go in and change a bunch of rules. Matter of fact, most people don't know it, but I helped Steve with those rules. So it's a good, solid program. So why go in there and just change everything up?
Absolutely. So John said tight racing, you have 12 to 15 cars within a tenth of each other in qualifying. So yeah, absolutely. Jeremy wants to know if you're coming to Citrus for the $15,000 race.
Of course I am.
Yeah, that's an SRL race. He'll be there for sure.
Yeah.
And Ricky, on I guess the rules, and the tight field, are you going to do the Wheelman race like you do a lot of your late model races with a redraw of the top number on the front stretch, or is it going to be a straight invert, or have you decided on how you'll do that yet with the Wheelman series?
No, what we're going to do there is I got a big 2-foot dice, and it's green so everybody can see it with black dots on it. And I'm going to get a fan to throw the dice, and whatever the dice roll is +6 is going to be the invert.
That's awesome. I love that idea. LK Ennis asks, may I ask as a fan, how many people make up your team to get all the tech inspections completed? For example, the Billy Bigley Memorial Race. So I think people are going to be really surprised by the few amount of people that Ricky takes with him. So Ricky, talk about your group.
The Billy Bigley race, we had 4 people plus myself. That's 5. So the Derby, I had 15 because we have to run 2 independent lines every day. So it really just depends on what event it is. Generally speaking, if it's a late model show, we like to have 6 to 8, depending on what we got to handle.
DJ said dice roll +6. I like it. Me too. It's going to be exciting. And with the inversion, I like it being done on the front stretch where the fans get involved and they get to see what the invert's going to be. And, it's not kind of done behind the scenes on the pit side.
As bright as this dice is, a blind man could see this.
Eric said, I've been trying to get on Ricky's staff forever. Ricky's staff never leaves. He's had the same group of people for as long as I can remember.
And they're a great, loyal group of people that I met, go to bat for him and show up everywhere. And they work tirelessly the whole weekend to make sure everything's right for the drivers. And that's what I love about him and his staff.
Well, I'm loyal to my staff too, because I've got some older people, but they keep coming back every year.
Absolutely. Richard wants to know, as a past tech guy and been threatened for a DQ, how do you handle that?
Do what now?
He said, as a past tech guy, he's been threatened for a DQ. How do you handle that?
You just got to take it. I mean, they can threaten, they can do whatever, but it is what it is. And when you leave that track that night, you got to leave whatever happened at that track. If somebody cusses you or threatens you or whatever, you just got to not worry about it.
And as far as post-race tech, how do you decide what will be checked on post-race tech on a particular race?
9 out of 10 times I just watch the race and look and just see what I see on a racetrack to see what I want to check afterwards.
And as far as the Wheelman Racing Series has their own page on Facebook still. So all information is shared there. And of course, we share it on Sunshine State Racing as well. It has their schedule. Ricky's going to post payout tomorrow. We already have the schedule shared for Arvindale Speedway for this weekend. So drivers, make your plans just to come out If you have any other questions, throw them on because I don't want to make Ricky be stuck with us all night.
And Ricky, I want to, the Wheelman series had a great sponsor in Brandon Ford the last however many years since Steve has started it. This year, County Waste has come on and been a great, going to be a great primary sponsor for the series. You have Sunoco Race Fuel, I know, and American Racer Tires. Who else is there that's joined on with you guys in the series that you want to give a shout out for helping making this possible?
Well, Race Quip's coming back on, has come on board with some safety stuff and fire suits and stuff like that. Pit boxes, Ricky Sanders up there, he's coming back. Hal's coming back. VDL fuel systems, BLP fuel systems. That's just a few right now.
And like I said, it's going to be a huge, great race weekend this weekend with the Wheelman 75 laps at Arbondale. But we can't let you go. You've been involved in this SRL West series for a long time, and you and a group of people have decided to expand it to the East. How did that expansion come about, and what are your hopes of doing that? Are you hoping to accomplish?
Well, I was looking to do something on my own on the East, and since I work so closely with them, they asked me about being partners. So we've actually just changed the logo this week, but the end of last week. So it's SRL National now. And I seen Citrus had a race. Cameron, I approached him about it. We're bringing some money to the purse to get that purse up. And then I've got 2 at Berlin, the same deal there. And I'm working on 3 more as we speak. We're only doing 6 events, sanctioning 6 events next year. And then we're looking at doing a national tour in 2023.
Not to put you on the spot, but maybe by 2023, if not this year, I think it's possible maybe to eventually one day we can get the purse up there to have the Bill Bigley Memorial Race and the sanctioned SLR East race.
Possibility.
Like I said, not put you on the spot. We work hard for that race, and we love what you do to support it, and we want to make it as big as we can for the Bigley family, and look forward to that race every year.
Now, we appreciate what you guys do too.
We have a fan submission: with constantly evolving ways for us to bend the rules, how do you stay ahead of it?
You got to stay involved.
Good answer. Ricky is a great tech man. Ricky, which is more enjoyable or difficult to direct, the oval races or the road course races?
Direct or tech?
Both.
I would say the road course races are most difficult to direct because you can't see the entire track. Tech wise, it's no different.
James Adams said the best in the business. So question in regards to Wheelman, back to that real quick. You're still doing the same thing that they were doing when Steve had it, as far as pre-registering, and you give away things at the driver's meeting as far as tires and things of that sort?
Yes, we're giving away 4 free tires at the driver's meeting for pre-registering.
Brian Dorr said, do you like the punt to pass? Why not do that punter?
Punt to pass. I'll give you the clean version. No, I don't like it.
All right. Thanks for keeping it clean. We still got 98 people watching, so y'all keep throwing questions out there. We'll keep bugging Ricky.
And Ricky, just for everybody that doesn't know what all you do, what all do you tech around the country? You got multiple late model events, and I know you do some Trans Am. You stay really busy at this. And now you got the Wheelman series. So let everybody know what all you're involved in.
Well, I got 16 Trans Am events all over the country, and I got 12 SRL events on the West Coast, and then I got 6 events with the SRL National. I got 8 Wheelman races, and then I do a handful of Southern Super Series races. I do the Rattler every year. I think that's about it. It's enough.
And then the Snowball.
Derby.
And then the Snowball.
Yep.
he stays pretty busy. I mean, and when he's not teching, he's working on stuff on what to tech and staying involved, so he keeps sharp. And it takes more time. I mean, we can speak. I don't do near as what you do, but it takes a lot of time behind the scenes to put this stuff together that a lot of people don't realize. And just because you might not be at the track working on a Saturday doesn't mean that you're not spending all week getting stuff ready. I know what that takes.
Yeah, it's a lot of nights and late nights and early mornings and staying busy.
We have a fan question. Are there any drivers banned from the series? So are any of the bans turning over kind of onto you?
To my knowledge, the last person that had a fine paid his fine. So to my knowledge, there's nobody banned at this moment.
Okay.
But I did tell Steve that if anybody had a fine or something like that, that I would honor that. Just because it's changing hands doesn't mean they get away with scot-free.
Good deal. Do you have any certain drivers, and of course we wouldn't ask you to name names, but do you have any certain drivers that you think are cheating and can't wait to catch?
To be honest with you, I've heard that a bunch of times in the last 3 weeks, but I haven't been to a lot of the sportsman races, to be honest with you, other than the Frostbite. So, and that weekend was a good weekend.
Andy said, need to bring the SRL National Series to Anderson Speedway in Indiana. That's a cool track too.
Well, tell Andy to have him reach out to me.
Yeah, Andy, have Anderson reach out to Ricky. And all his information is on the Wheelman page, but if you need the email, it's all listed on the Wheelman page. He's real good about responding to everyone with questions and concerns. Fan question, this may be a bad question. Worried someday we may lose super late model and other forms of racing to electric cars. Hopefully never see this day. Just would love your feedback.
Actually, Trans Am is working along with another group for the electric stuff. I hope by the time the electric stuff comes in, I'm retired. I hope that's several years off.
And that kind of rolls us into our next fan question. Who is in your field that will or could fill in for you or even take over for you when you plan on retiring?
Currently, nobody. But
So you better start training.
I look for people all the time, somebody that I think that I can train. Currently, if I had 2 people that would do it the correct way, I could keep them busy.
As I'll say, and to open another question, does that lead into if there's anybody young and upcoming that's into this and maybe not into the racing themselves that want to learn this, that if they were the right person and the right fit and wanted to do it for the right reasons, you would be willing to kind of mentor a little bit and prepare to try to take over for you?
Absolutely.
Another fan submission. Do you think that racing will be going to front wheel drive cars being rear wheel drive is no longer being made?
I don't think so.
Rinky Anderson says, what does that pay? Probably not enough for the headache, right?
Yeah. People tell me all the time they don't know how I put up with what I put up with.
I'm pretty sure I tell you that every time I see you at the track. And Mary for putting up with you.
Right.
and kind of get into me and you talked a little bit after the Bigley Memorial, and you watched some of there's a lot of technology out there now with the GoPro footages, and I know me and you've had conversations about what they cost and putting them on cars. Is that something you could see down the road as being vital in race directing or making calls or even looking at things afterwards, that the more technology advances that probably is needed to be included into racing?
Absolutely, because that's one of the ways that road racing looks at stuff after the event is through the cameras. We use an aim camera in the road racing stuff, but it's beneficial to directing those races.
DJ said there's not enough money. Jeremy Goddard said I couldn't put up with me, let alone the other guys.
Amen on that one.
Steve Gill says, have tracks tried overruling your decisions?
Not really.
I feel like if they ask you to come and tech, then they trust you as, you know, you guys, your group, to come do your job.
If they gotta get involved or overrule me, then they don't need me.
I agree with that 100%.
Mary's watching. Mary said, Jen, it's easy to work with Ricky and we work hard, take it serious, but have fun. Yes, you do. And we love seeing you guys.
And Ricky, do you guys Mary's on? I always heard she brings great snacks to the racetrack and desserts and stuff. Is that true?
No, she brings Sheila. Sheila's the one that's got the great snacks.
And Mary's been in the race world for as long as I've been alive.
As long as I've been around.
Yeah, with her dad having all the knowledge that he had, and then Miss Mary with all the knowledge she has, you can't help but just love that family and what she does for the sport still. Rex Guy said, you're too easy.
Well, Ricky, we won't take too much of your time. We don't have a lot of questions coming in, but anything, you got the open mic that you want to say to everybody, and we appreciate you coming on and spending half an hour to an hour with us. Let everybody know about the pre and post race tech and the Wheelman series and the SRL East or SRL National now. And we're excited about what you have going on and happy to support it, but it's your open mic. What would you like to tell everybody? And let's make racing great this year and even better in 2023.
I hate to tell you this, Robert, but I didn't get half of what you said for some reason.
Yeah, I had a horn going off in the background. Just what do you want to open mic for anything you want to talk about? We're thankful for everything you do, bringing the Wheelman series and all the races you do in the SRL Nationals. But any open mic, anything you want to tell everybody, and just about what you do and your open floor for a few minutes on anything you want to talk about.
Just tell people to think before they speak or put something out there negative on social media. There's way too much negativity out there. I'm not trying to hurt any racetrack, tell any racetrack they're not doing it the right way. I'm just trying to bring sponsorship to the racers to where they can make more money and make things better. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not saying I do things better, by no means. But if we don't start looking out for the racers and the sport, we're not going to have racers, and then you and I won't have a job, and racetracks won't have a place to do anything with other than maybe go fishing in a pond. We got to take care of the racers, number one.
Absolutely. We have a couple more questions we'll run through. Brian Dorr, why do we run radios and use mirrors in template cars?
Good question.
Eddie King Jr., do you think traction control will ever be allowed just due to the extreme measures taken to hide and police it?
I don't think so.
Rinky Anderson, who is the most consistent cheater?
Brian Dorr.
Good answer. Have you DQ'd anyone for coding engines?
For coding in engines?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Need a better system for resealing crate motors? It's a question. Do you need a better system for resealing crate motors? Your thoughts on that?
I mean, personally, I don't think I do. I use cable seals, and I don't believe you can get these apart. I mean, you can do anything if you got enough money, but just because it's got a seal on it doesn't mean I'm not still going to tech it.
Brian Dorr said, haha, Ricky.
Hey, Ricky, over the years, what's been, I guess, your toughest or hardest call on a DQ that you ever had to make?
I get asked that a lot, but to be honest with you, I don't keep up with them.
Oh, I have a question. So the new rule is no smartwatches, no phones in the cars. Was there a deal with some type of technology on the smartwatches?
There was some stuff with traction control being Bluetoothed.
Good to know. I always wondered why that came about.
Well, and Ricky's always been big on that. I mean, I've seen him I think at DeSoto, a couple races you tech back when DeSoto was there, late model race. It might even been one of the big league races where you check the driver suits and stuff for technology right after the race. I mean, there's always with the Bluetooth capabilities nowadays ways to do it, and you stay pretty on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, back in the DeSoto days, everybody swore Jesse Dutilli had traction control, but he didn't have it. He was Jesse's just that good down there.
Right. All right, guys, get your questions in. We're going to roll through a couple more, and then we're going to let Ricky get on with his evening. One says, thoughts on allowing data acquisition systems in cars similar to what's popular in road course racing?
It'll never happen on my watch.
I would have to assume it's really expensive.
Well, it's not as expensive as you think. But with everything I deal with the road course, with the data and all that stuff, I don't want to see that on short track cars.
And Richard clarified coating of engines like the intake manifold to speed up airflow.
No, haven't had one of them.
And you
Right.
talk about everything, doing everything for the cost of the racer and keeping the racer. I don't think people understand a lot of what you do in tech is to keep that cost down for the racers and keep it so they're able to come back. I mean, you pride yourself in a lot of races you do and a lot we do with what it pays to start. And everybody doesn't realize that unless you win some of these races, you're losing money. So anything we can do to keep the playing field fair and the cost down for the racer is going to keep more racers coming back.
Correct.
Brian Dorr said, where did your hair go?
He's funny guy tonight, isn't he?
Right.
What he's trying to do is get me to lose it on him. That's what he's trying to do, but it's not going to happen.
Rinky Anderson says, what happened to the driver council that was supposed to help with the cost of super racing? I had heard that there was a driver council and there was a couple meetings, and then is that still in effect, or?
Where was that at?
I know it, I think it started at South Alabama with some late model drivers.
Oh, that was a meeting they had. Yeah. Nothing ever become of that, but stand by on that statement. There's some things coming down the pipeline, and I'll let you know as soon as they materialize a little bit more.
Tyler said this has to be one of the best shows. I agree. If you've never talked to Ricky at a track, he's got so much information. Don't bother him when he's working, but other than when he's working, hang out with him, BS with him, you'll learn a lot.
This is a show we've been wanting to do for a long time, but I know your time's valuable and you're always busy. So thanks for taking time tonight to do this. And I think it's very informative to all the drivers that we did a show like this.
I agree. Bill said, can we come up with a parts motor for sportsmen to get the engine builders back involved, AKA trucks, sportsmen, etc.?
I've already been working on that. With the way GM crate motors are going up in price, I've been working on that, but I got to let parts level out and availability come back before we can pick those parts and pieces.
Awesome.
Kind of like the super late model motor. But I've already been working on that.
Good deal. Good to hear. A lot of people will really enjoy it. Is there any new technology out there that you feel is too expensive?
There's a lot of new technology out there that's too expensive, but I don't know how you stop every bit of it.
Right. Have you ever cheated when you were racing modifieds?
Absolutely.
Mike Howell said, nice job, guys and gal. And Bill said, awesome. Thanks, Ricky. And on that note, I think we'll close it out. We've taken almost an hour of his time. We really appreciate you, buddy. You know, we're always here to help, and any information you want to ask, of course, we get it out for you. Can't wait to see you this weekend and look forward to following the Wheelman series this year.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Ricky. Have a great night.
You too. See you, Brian Dorr.
I think Brian Dorr needs to get a sportsman.
Right? So that was it. What a cool show. Definitely want to get him back on. I don't want to keep, too much of his time because I know he's got a very busy week getting ready for this weekend, not to mention just the Wheelman stuff, but all the other series stuff as well. So huge shout out to Ricky Brooks. Thank you so much for taking time to come on. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you. Keep submitting questions. We'll get a little Q&A set up for Ricky. Heck, I might write them all down, type them all down, and have them
Okay,
answer
he can get him.
us
He
this
can get him
weekend.
to answer these and post the questions without actually having him back on and get the answers. So keep submitting the questions, and if you watch this later, let us know. But it was great of him to take this time tonight, and an awesome guy. If you don't get to talk to him at the track, a lot of fun to be around, and really cares about the racers and racing in general.
And keeping the cost down for everyone. So that's a big deal. Hopefully he'll be able to get that built motor deal up and running again for a lot of our smaller classes. And thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. We hope to see everyone at the charity event, the fundraising karting event on Saturday morning. And then we will be at Arvindale Saturday evening for the Wheelman show, and hope to see everyone there. Y'all have a great rest of your week. See you soon.
See everybody. Thank you.